Hello everyone, welcome back to my round review for AFL Fantasy. This time for the penultimate round 22. This week we performed quite well with a score of 2,404. Just hit the 2,400 mark with some late changes to Parker's score. Gained a kick and a tackle, so that was quite exciting. We had a round rank of just outside 1,000, which meant that we were able to climb like 100 rank from 833. So it was a good result this week after a pretty bad round last week. We dropped. We basically made up the rank we lost last week, and then also a little bit more. So I guess a net gain over the last 2 weeks, which is alright. So this week my trades were Merritt out for Cripps and then Cameron out for Smith. So I think in the video last week I had Stewart in, and then maybe Neil out, maybe Crisp out. Can't quite remember, but I ended up changing my trade. So I think I kept Cameron to Smith the same. But yeah, I decided to trade Merritt because he was against Port Adelaide, and I was a bit worried about Drew tagging him, which is exactly what happened. And I knew his break even was already quite high because he scored 55, which would have inflated his break even a lot. So I didn't want to. Well, it doesn't really matter with the price drop, but yeah, I just didn't think there would be a good score this week for him. I was kind of right. 86 is like not bad. It's not a bad hold, but I got in Cripps, and also made 160 odd K to invest in Cameron invest in Cameron. So it was a good result in the end. I gained 32 points, I believe. Cripps scored 118. And he was also my captain this week, so it was a good result. Just one regret was trading Cameron when he was against Hickey. Yeah. I probably should have held him. I don't like. I just had enough with his inconsistency. I really just didn't want to worry about that for the weekend, so I just decided to get rid of him. Even though it probably wasn't the right move, it was probably better for my mental health. So I traded him, but I also kept Neil. So that was probably the bad decision I made last week. So I should have traded Neil to Smith and then kept Cameron. It would have probably gained me 26 points, I think. Which would have gained me a bit more rank, but it's not a big deal, I guess. So I avoided Stewart, who scored a 90, which I think was a good result. Some decent trades this week. And then as you can see here, we vice captain led, who underperformed heavily. Who was he against again? Against North Melbourne. He just didn't get going in the first half. I think maybe he had an injury niggle or something, because in the first quarter, I think he came off halfway through the quarter and just didn't come back on. So he had a massive bench stint, which didn't help his scoring. So when he dropped that 92, I decided to captain Cripps against Melbourne. I made that decision because the Carlton midfield is just so depleted. It's got no Kennedy, no Hewitt, and they had to play Doherty in there. Like, that's just how depleted it was. Cripps also had some nice tackle numbers as a result of the inside midfield was going out, which is good. So pretty happy with Cripps' score. It was tough seeing Doherty and Brayshaw outscore him though, because I considered Brayshaw for the captaincy. But I thought Cripps would be safer because I don't know why I doubted Brayshaw. Like he's just such a consistent scorer when he's playing midfield. I should have captained him, but it's only 5 points. Like it's not a big deal. So yeah, I also had Mills captain the whole week. I think in my video last week I said that I was gonna go lead into Mills. I changed that decision. I just thought Cripps would be more reliable than Mills because of the depleted midfield and Pitnet coming back. He always benefits Cripps' scoring for some reason. So I was very confident in Cripps going at least 110, but I thought Mills was a chance to play badly, even though it was against Collingwood. Like whenever I have confidence in him, he just seems to play badly, and this was just one of those games where I thought he wouldn't do that well, but he ended up playing a very good game, so I lost 11 points on that captaincy. So in general this week, I'm quite happy with quite a few of my players. Doherty, his move to the midfield was very successful. His tackling pressure was insane. Like he tackled so much and got a few marks when he went back and helped out with the defensive outlet for Carlton. Brayshaw, full-time mid, no injury niggles this week. Obviously he was gonna go and get 38 touches and score 123. Loving him as an owner right now. Dawson was also very good against North Melbourne, who didn't tag him, which is quite surprising. Sicily, nice redemption game this week after last week also turning up, so seems like he's back to some decent form. He also played like a bit of a midfield role, which is probably why he had a spike in his scoring. So hopefully, it doesn't really matter next week because Bulldogs give up a ton of points to medium defenders. So pretty confident in Sicily turning again next week. Miller was also very good unexpectedly against Geelong. He was just everywhere. So very good game by him against a tough opponent. Rowan Marshall absolutely dominated once again. Even when he doesn't win the rock battle convincingly, he still scores very well. So he's just such a good fantasy asset. And to partner him, I had Darcy, who was also fantastic. I didn't watch his game, but 56 hit-outs against Nick Naitanui, that's mind-blowing. And then he also found his way with the marking this week as well with 5 marks, and he also kicked the ball a lot, which is very surprising for a ruckman. Not sure how that happened, but yeah, it was just a very, very good game from Darcy. Luke Parker was always going to go with a good score against Collingwood, so happy that he lived up to that. But my disappointments this week, there were quite a few of them as well. Ed Crisp, I don't know what's wrong with him. I'll probably trade him this week, so not much to say about him. Steele also, I can't believe he scored 65. How is that even possible? I know he got tagged by Matheson, but you'd expect season on the line game for St Kilda and the captain of the football club. You'd think he'd step up, even if he was getting tagged, 20 touches maybe. You think he at least get 20 touches or have some more tackles, but he was nowhere to be seen on Friday night, which was quite disappointing. Like I never should have traded him in. I don't know why I did that, but yeah, he's averaged what? Like 80, 85, 90 on my, while he's been in my team. It's just terrible. But yeah, we've also got Brayshaw. He got tagged. Yeah, it's also pretty disappointing, but at least he made an effort, greater than Steele. Yeah, this is typical Brayshaw. Whenever he gets tagged, he just scores okay, not terrible, so it's fine. Just yeah. Yeah. Also Neil, he got smoked by Windhanger, so can't really blame him. Yeah, he had to play a more team-oriented role this week because of the tag, so couldn't really get the ball himself. I'm also pretty disappointed with Bontempelli and Smith. Like I thought Smith would do very well. He started pretty well, but he faded in the I think in like the second quarter, third quarter, when the Giants were just playing kick to kick. So yeah, it's very frustrating to watch. Bontempelli, I mean, he didn't play that badly, but he missed. He almost scored a couple goals, and he also had 18 handballs, 8 kicks, which is not very fantasy friendly. But I would have expected more from Bontempelli after bringing him in. I probably just shouldn't have brought him in at all. Like, should have brought in Cornelio, who scored 121. But yeah, I didn't think the Corky would hamper him that much. So yeah, fell into that trap. But yeah, so looking forward to next week or this week. Yeah, so I've done my trades. I'm obviously not confirmed yet, but definitely looking at getting rid of Crisp, who although has a decent matchup against the depleted Carlton midfield this week, I just really can't trust. It's similar to my Cameron situation last week, except Cameron actually has shown potential to score. Crisp has just been very disappointing recently, so I just want to get rid of him. Yeah, and I'm bringing in Hall because he's just whenever he's fit, he just plays so well in terms of fantasy. So definitely a very good asset to have this week. Just worry about him getting injured 2 minutes into the game. And then at the moment I've also got Sinclair out because of a potential Ryan Clark tag. So you can see through his history, in round 15 he scored a 72 when he got tagged. So yeah, I'm looking to get rid of him. And I'm looking to bring in Brandon Ellis, who scored 130 on the weekend. He's playing this new halfback role, kind of like Hall, to be honest, because the Suns have just lost all their good kickers from defense. So Ellis has been moved back, and he's been taking kickouts, and he's been very dominant from defense. So he's got North Melbourne as well, who are an easy matchup for halfback. So yeah, bringing in two guys from the same game, playing basically the same role this week. I'm also looking at bringing in Parrish against Richmond. Just find him. Let me just take a look here. Where is he? Oh, well, yeah, 771k is pretty cheap, and last time he played Richmond, he scored 146 here. So yeah, I'm looking at bringing him in if I don't trade Sinclair. Um, yeah, it's a very good matchup for him. And if English is out, I mean not English is out. If Steph Martin is still in the team, then I will trade English instead of Sinclair because yeah, English just doesn't score well as a second ruck, so I'll have to look at bringing in either a forward or a ruck. I'll probably bring in Max Gorn, but I don't think I have enough money for that, so I'll have to work something out if that's the case. Yeah, but if English is out, I probably can't trade Crisp then. If he, yeah, yeah, it's gonna be tough because English has dropped so much cash that it's just kind of hard to see where you could go from him. Like a sideways swap. I could go to Butters. I could go to a key forward. Jeremy Cameron being injured is very annoying because I would have brought him in against West Coast. He would have scored probably at least 5 goals. So that's pretty annoying. I'm not really sure who I'd bring in, but that's the way it is right now. So Crisp and Sinclair out at the moment. Also thinking about English out. Oh, and also considering Brayshaw out as well because of a Perryman tag this week by the Giants. Yeah, we saw he scored a 78. 78 there while getting tagged. I think this was just an off game, but yeah, whenever he gets tagged, he just doesn't play very well. So, as you'd expect, obviously. So I'll probably consider trading him. If I don't want to trade Sinclair, and English is good to go. Yeah, he'll probably go to Parish. So yeah, I've got 4 trade options this week that I have to weigh up. A lot of it depends on team selection. So yeah, like if Perryman gets dropped or something, which is highly unlikely, I'll keep Brayshaw 100%. But yeah, those are my trade considerations this week. And then for my captains, I'm looking at vice captaining Took against North Melbourne. Yeah, North Melbourne, they've become more tough to score against recently, so I'm not sure, but yeah, Miller literally just went 133 against Geelong, so I don't think a tough matchup matters that much. Especially when there aren't many other good VC options. I mean, you could go Laird, but he does have, Port Adelaide. I'll just have a look at what he scored against them earlier. But this was his return game, so it doesn't really count, but still not very good. Yeah, I'll probably just go with Miller. Could also go Doherty. Doherty C. Yeah. Also considering Cripps C. So it's either gonna be Doherty or Cripps for my captain. Also McRae vice captain. I'm also considering that because he's playing the Hawks at Utah Stadium, and we all know that Utah Stadium is very fantasy friendly. So I think McRae is a good VC option if you don't have Miller. Yeah, it's a good point difference, and like it's also low risk because you can just go into Doherty captain or Cripps if you have him. In terms of looping, I'll probably loop English, especially if I end up keeping him and Martin Martin's still in. But I might also, if Harms is in for Melbourne, I'll probably loop Neil again with Hollands. Because yeah, if Harms is in, he'll definitely tag Neil. But yeah, Yeah, my other trade targets, just in general, considering McCluggage. So he has Melbourne this week, who are a good matchup for midfielders, as we saw with Doherty and Cripps. So yeah, I think McCluggage is a decent option this week. He had an off game on Friday because some personal issues, but he should be back to his best this week. I'm also considering Josh Kelly. I'll just find him. Yep. So he's had a massive 142 score, obviously inflated because of the Giants' kick-to-kick game style. Yeah, 12 marks. That's just not going to happen every game, but I think he's a pretty good option. He has Fremantle, who are they're not hard to score in. It's not particularly easy, but I think it's still a decent matchup. Playing at Canberra Oval, so yeah. If you're looking for a cheap midfielder, then I think definitely consider Josh Kelly. Even though Parrish is probably the better option. And then for the people who are looking for someone extremely cheap, I'd still go with Zorko. We'll just find him. Or Whitfield, actually. Whitfield's a decent option. He's been playing pretty well last couple of weeks. But yeah, I'd go. Where is he? Zorko. We'll just find him. Yeah, so 620k. Definitely not that expensive, and he has Melbourne this week. We see here that he's been scoring consistently of 85, so it's a pretty safe, decent score if he doesn't get injured. But yeah, he's probably the best you can afford in that price range. For the final round, so yeah, that will probably do it for this week's review. I'll finish off this season's fantasy with a review next week. So good luck this week in the final week, grand finals for leagues. Let me just go through my leagues actually. I think I've been knocked out of this one. Yeah, this is the one I made, and I got knocked out in the first week, I think, when I had that terrible round 21 score, I think. Yeah, I lost to Toby from Newport. So let's look at this one. This is DT Live. Semi-finals. Oh wait, no, this is round 21. Look here. Consolation final. I didn't do very well in this league. Look at DT Live. Yeah, so I'm in the grand final for this one. I finished 8th. And I've somehow ended up in the grand final against the Doomsayer. Hat Chat League, League 15. Made it to the grand final after finishing 3rd place, which is solid. These ones, I don't know what league this is. I think it's just a random league I joined, but also in the grand final. Ken Barron's Cup. This is a league for, I think, Canberra fantasy players from Hat Chat audience against DC this week. So tough matchup. And what's this? I don't know what that is. How about this? Oh, mine's Calvin. Easy win then. And then grand final for this as well. So I've made grand finals in most of my leagues. I've performed decently for the final series. So yeah, I've made it to maybe, I think that was 5 grand finals, maybe 4 or 5, and then others I completely missed the final. So I think apart from League of Legends, all the other ones I've either made the grand final or just haven't made finals entirely, which is quite weird, but that's just the story of my season. It's either gone very well in some rounds or it's just gone really badly. So that'll be it for this week, and I'll see you guys next week.